Hey, what's up guys? This is Joe from Analog Archive back with another vinyl video. Today's video is going to be me talking about records that I've gotten recently. So in the last probably maybe 3 or 4 weeks, just some records that I've gotten. So we'll get started with that. First one is a 10-inch. So this is introducing Joe Gordon. This has been on my want list. I was actually looking for the 12-inch version of this that came out in 55. This predates that a little bit. I think this was from like 54, but this is a 10-inch that has Art Blakey on the drums, Junior Mance is on piano, Jimmy Shank is on the bass, you've got Charlie Rouse on tenor sax, and then you've got Joe Gordon on the trumpet. Just a great session. Joe Gordon unfortunately did not have a whole lot of sessions, and I believe in the early 60s he actually passed away in a house fire. So unfortunately his life was cut short. He really was not able to share the amazing gift that he had at playing trumpet, but this is a great 10-inch. I haven't had great luck with 10 inches. Same with 7 inches in terms of just they seem to always be really beat up, but this one sounds great, so really glad to have that. This next one I found at Record Archive a few weeks ago in Rochester, real cheap, just presenting the Jerry Mulligan Sextet. This is a I believe this is an original press. It's on Emercy, but it was that transition when Emercy was when the Mercury label kind of overtook the Emercy label. So this has got Jerry Mulligan's on baritone sax, Zoot Sims is on the tenor sax, Dave Bailey's on the drums, Bob Brookmeyer is on the trombone, Peck Morrison's on bass, and then John Erdley is on the trumpet. So there's a few names that I'm not as familiar with, but Zoot Sims, really enjoy him on tenor sax, Jerry Mulligan as well. So just a really enjoyable, cheap heat jazz. So if you see this, definitely pick this up. I mean, it was $10. It's in great condition, so real excited about that one. The next one is a pickup. A lot of these came from Bop Shop in Rochester. Great place to find jazz, as I've said in other videos. Detroit, New York Junction, Thad Jones. This is a 1978 King record pressing from Japan. Sounds incredible. It's a mono. Thad Jones on trumpet. You got Billy Mitchell's on tenor sax. I really wish that he was on more sessions. It's also got Kenny Burrell is on guitar, Tommy Flanagan on piano, Oscar Pettiford's on bass, and then Shadow Wilson is on the drums. Just a really great early hard bop kind of session. One of the first 1500 series, 1513, so very early on. Another Thad Jones one that I've picked up recently, the Magnificent Thad Jones. I got this from a seller on Instagram. He had a few of the United Artist mono that I talked about in one of my last videos. So this is that 72 US UA mono. Great session overall. A lot of people consider this to be his best one. I have a preference for his actual third album, Volume 3, that I had kind of showcased in another video a little while ago, but this is a great session as well. It also has Billy Mitchell on tenor sax, so a great partnership kind of coming together, and a really enjoyable one. Again, looking forward to, I haven't had a chance to spin this one yet, but really enjoy being able to pick that up, and that's actually completed my Thad Jones Blue Note collection, so been really glad to be able to pick those up in the last few months. If you follow me on Instagram, you'll see that some of these I've shown already. This is Hank Mobley with Donald Byrd and Lee Morgan. So you've got 2 trumpet players, Donald Byrd, Lee Morgan, and then you've got, this is actually a Hank Mobley session, billed as Hank Mobley Sextet. There's actually another, I believe, Hank Mobley Sextet that's just called Hank. That's a little bit, I believe, before this one. I might be wrong, it might be after this one. But this is a kind of mid 1500 series. I think this is actually 15. Let me see if it says on the label. Okay, they had a little bit earlier, 1540, but this is essentially just a what's considered a blowing session for Blue Note. So if you really enjoy the blowing sessions, definitely recommend, if you see this one, to pick it up. This is a Blue Note, the Japanese press from the mid 70s, before they went to the King Records pressing plant, and just a really great session overall. It's a tough one to find, but was really glad to pick this one up. It's in really excellent condition and sounds incredible, so glad to be able to grab that one. This is a record that I actually had already owned, and I decided to pass it on to somebody else in the vinyl community in the fall, but was glad to be able to find it again. Dexter Gordon. This is a Black B pressing from the mid 70s, early to mid 70s, but a great quartet session. Dexter Gordon's on tenor sax, Kenny Drew's on piano, Paul Chambers on bass, and Philly Joe Jones on the drums. It's got a great contrast of kind of faster moving hard bop, and then it's also got some ballad like songs as well. But this is one of Dexter Gordon's best sessions on Blue Note, at least in my opinion, and a really enjoyable one. So glad to be able to pick this one up. This is another one that's tough to find, but was glad to have seen that and be able to again get that back. This is one that I've been really excited to have gotten last few weeks. This has been on my want list since I probably started collecting jazz, and especially since I started getting into Kenny Burrell. So this is John Jenkins with Kenny Burrell, 1573. This is an unbelievable condition. This is a UA mono as well. So I'll show this one as the label because I didn't show it for the other one. So just a really nice early 70s US label. As I had said in that UA mono video, they had created new stampers for these records, so they have a real great life to them. They don't sound dull like as you kind of got into the 70s for the US copies. So really enjoyable one to have. Again, another one that's worth picking up if you see. As we continue on, a reoccurring theme is these UA monos. Two of them I got from this one seller on Instagram that has quite a collection of them, and then the other ones I'd gotten from the Bob Shop in Rochester. So this is J.R. Monteiro's. This is his only session on Blue Note, and I believe this is actually the only session he is on Blue Note as well. It's got Ira Sullivan is on trumpet. I don't think that he is on any other Blue Note sessions either. Horace Silver's on piano, Wilbur Ware's on bass, and then Philly Joe Jones is on the drums. So it's got an interesting lineup of two kind of the front men of Ira Sullivan and J.R. Monteiro's, who were not really on any other Blue Note sessions other than this one. And then you've got a rhythm section, especially Horace Silver, Philly Joe Jones, who are like Blue Note staples. They're on almost, they're on a good percentage of especially the 1500 series ones, but just listen to this one last night and it sounds great as well. Worth picking up if you see it. There's a more recent press, I think it's like a Classic Records pressing of this, along with obviously this one or the original, but originals of this is one of the highest selling Blue Note 1500 series, easily over $1,000 if you find a copy, so not really worth it. I think I paid $75 for this one, so just really great to have that. And then as we move on, getting into some of the kind of the bigger ones, we got one more of the UA monos that I just picked up recently. The opener, Curtis Fuller. This has also been one that's been on my want list for a while. Was really drawn in by the cover. Love the color of this black, kind of black and white photo of Curtis Fuller. And then you've got the red font of the opener. It just sounds incredible. One of the big reasons I bought this, I like Curtis Fuller. He didn't have a lot of, he had a few sessions here and there for Blue Note, Prestige, and then I have his real big record on Impulse Soul Trombone. Was really glad to pick that up in the fall. But one of the big reasons why I bought this was because it had Hank Mobley on it as well on tenor sax. You've got a maybe somewhat, I wouldn't say super rare appearance, but not a super common appearance of Bobby Timmons on piano. Obviously, he would go on to join the Art Blakey and the Jazz Messengers shortly after this one. Paul Chambers on bass, Art Taylor on the drums. So this has got an all-star lineup. It sounds great, and great combination between Curtis Fuller and Hank Mobley. So enjoyable for this one. Another one that unfortunately is pretty challenging to find this, and really in any condition. Did not have many pressings. I don't even know if there is any modern pressings of this. There may be a Classic Records from like the mid 2000s, but I think unfortunately that's probably the most recent it's gone. I don't think this was part of the Music Matters catalog that was reissued. And it's definitely not any Tone Poets or Blue Note 80ths or anything like that. So if you find this, you got to pick it up, because you probably never will find it again. So just a really great album though. And then I believe, the rest of them are some bigger ones. This first one may not seem like a bigger one, but to me, this is another one that I've been really looking for a long time, and it just never comes up. It's not a real expensive album. It might go for $75, $50, $75, but it's just a scarce album, and that's Ronnie Matthews, Doing the Thing. This has got Freddie Hubbard on trumpet, Ronnie Matthews on piano, Charles Davis on baritone sax, Eddie Kahn is on bass, and Albert Heath is on the drums. So it's got a pretty decent lineup. Charles Davis I'm not too familiar with, and he's got a pretty decent contribution on the baritone sax. It's not super great in terms of other players, especially like Jerry Mulligan, but he has got a decent contribution. But Ronnie Matthews and Freddie Hubbard are definitely the stars of this album. Freddie Hubbard's got a few solos on here, and when he's got the solos, he's definitely taken that time to really show what he's got. This is an incredible session. If you find this, you got to pick it up. Front to back, mostly fast moving. There's only one ballad out of the 6 tracks that are on here. Prelude to a Kiss on the B side, which I believe is a standard. But the rest of them are just real fast-moving hard bop songs. Right as Freddie Hubbard was starting to transition into kind of exploring different areas of jazz, getting more into that post-bop, especially in the next maybe 2 years or so, he moves on to Atlantic. And so just a great kind of intermediate session that bridges the gap between Blue Note and when he goes to Atlantic. So this is on Prestige. This isn't an original. This came out the same year as the original in 1964, but it's got the blue Trident label. This is mono as well. This was $30. The cover, I had to kind of do some cosmetic work on it. I had to glue the top, but the album it sounds great. Very little surface noise, if any. And found this at the Stacks and at Bop Shop, and was very, very happy to find this. This is a record I did not expect to find, especially at a store. I was expecting to try to find it online, but really glad to be able to pick that up. The next few I found on the wall at the Bop Shop a few weeks ago. Clifford Brown, Max Roach. I had said maybe a month or two ago that now that I have the Blue Note, or the Mosaic box set for Clifford Brown, I've started to look for his other albums on MRC Prestige. I got his Memorial album on Prestige, and my next main goal in terms of collecting Clifford Brown was to find his MRC records, especially with Max Roach. And so I've got this one. This is one of the better sessions, in my opinion. I'm still on the lookout for the Basin Street at Basin Street. That's kind of agreed to be one of the best, if not his best, MRC records. But this is a very close second. It's got blazing solos by Clifford Brown. Max Roach is never afraid to to make his presence known on the drums. You can definitely hear that on that. Really enjoy Harold Land on tenor sax. Definitely somebody that was underrated, did not get the attention that he really deserved. George Morrow was a staple on bass in the 50s, especially on Prestige. George Morrow backed up Max Roach and also Sonny Rollins on quite a few Prestige sessions. And then Richie Powell's on piano. Unfortunately, not terribly long after this, maybe less than a year or so after this album was recorded, both Richie Powell and Clifford Brown both died in a car accident. And so just a great lineup, great session overall. This is a nice record that you can find. You can find cheaper Japanese pressings from the 70s. Those are usually 10, maybe 15 bucks. Those are pretty common, at least from what I've seen. And but just really glad to be able to pick this up. This is an original mono on that blue Emercy label. So great to be able to pick that one up. So as we continue to move, the last few, there's 3 left. The last 3 are some big ones, starting with Horace Silver and the Jazz Messengers. I've already shown this one in the Blue Note 1518 project series that I did. It was last week, I think I made that video. This has become one of my favorite jazz albums, really, in my collection. Unbelievable lineup. It's got essentially the same lineup, and I actually think it is the same lineup as what was on the Cafe Bohemia Jazz Messenger sessions, early Blue Note 1500 series. Kenny Dorham's on trumpet, Hank Mobley's on tenor sax, Horace Silver's on piano, Doug Watkins on bass, and Art Blakey's on the drums. Really, really incredible session. Kenny Dorham is unbelievable on this record. It is so ridiculous how good he is on this session. I've never heard Kenny Dorham play the way that he does in this session, along with the 2 Cafe Bohemia sessions that came shortly before this. Just incredible playing, along with Hank Mobley on tenor sax. The 2 of them just light this session on fire, and really, really great to pick up. This is a, I think I showed this one, but if you had not checked out that video, then you haven't seen it. This is not an original, but this is a second, I believe, pressing of it. The original would have 767 Lexington Ave on it. This obviously is when they transitioned in around 58 to the Blue Note Records 47 West 63rd NYC labels, but it does actually have an original jacket. I can't really tell if the jacket, I believe the jacket is original. This usually would have a framed cover to it, but I unfortunately just am not great at being able to predict or be able to determine that. I know what you're supposed to kind of look for, this fold in the top right corner, but you don't see that for this one. So I'm not really sure if this was just a reproduced jacket that didn't have that type of jacket. And then also I read something about the fact that even the second pressing of this could still have the flat edge to the vinyl. So instead of having the beaded rim that protects the needle from just simply falling off the record, I don't know. Again, I think actually looking at this, it does look like it's flat. So I got to be a little bit careful with it. I have played this one. It sounds incredible. It does, when you look at it, there is a few spots that look a little bit rough, but this plays through like a war horse. I think I actually did say that in the video, but just really great. Really happy to pick that up. And then the last 2 are some real big ones, especially the last one. This one came from that same collection at the Bob Shop that I picked up. The Coltrane self-titled All Night Long, Kenny Burrell, the 6 Pieces of Silver, Horace Silver, and then the Portrait of Farmer, Art Farmer, and I might be wrong. I think that's it. This one is one that's been on my want list for a while, When Farmer Met Grace. This is an original mono, and along with it being original, this is also a promo copy. So this has the not for sale on the labels, or on the, at least on the A side. This is probably as close as you can get to near mint as a 50 or almost, well, yeah, 60, 65 or so, 64, 65-year-old album can be. Just a really incredible session. Art Farmer trumpet, Gigi Grice alto sax. The A side has Horace Silver on piano, while the B side has Freddie Redd on piano. So rest in peace to Freddie Redd, who just passed away earlier this week. A great piano player. And even though he had limited sessions, he used those lead sessions to really make his mark. Percy Heath's on the bass on one side, Kenny Clark's on the drums, and then on the B side you've got Addison Farmer, who's Art Farmer's younger brother, on the bass, and then Art Taylor's on the drums. A side, B side sound a bit different. The A side is very blazing, very fast, hard bop. The B side, you've got two of the tracks that are faster, and then the other two are going to be ballads, but just a really great session. This is before Art Farmer went kind of in that direction of playing the flugelhorn and slowing down his pace. He still has that rapid, very energetic pace on this album. And then Gigi Grice is someone that you really can't go wrong with on the alto sax. Just a really great artist. All right, so that is it for this video. Again, thank you to all the people that have subscribed and have liked, commented on my videos. And thank you for the amazing connections and friendships that I've made so far, 1 year into the vinyl community on YouTube. Look forward to continuing to make videos, grow my channel. I hope that people are enjoying what I'm showing in terms of jazz. I'm trying to offer something that a lot of other people aren't really providing in terms of just the amount of jazz that's being discussed. Yeah, so again, I look forward to continuing to make videos, and I'll be back in the next few days for a contest for someone that I've really enjoyed watching his videos recently. So that's something to kind of to be on the lookout for. But yeah, so that's it for this video. If you liked the video, please think about liking and subscribing, and I will see you in the next final video. Bye.